Hey, so I thought we'd talk about a topic that most people can relate to, which is anxiety and panic attacks. And sorry, I'm not having the greatest day, but it is what it is. So, in the background, you may or may not hear the X Files. It's because it calms me down. I love the music. It just calms me down. I love the show. So, I usually watch that or the 1950s Twilight Zone, the black and white Twilight Zones, because you don't have to like do any thought. You're not like trying to understand the plot. You're just like, okay, you know. So you're able to just chill and let your mind just like take a break, and you're just going with it. So that's why I like it. So yeah, I had some panic attacks tonight and some anxiety, which is not out of the norm for someone who grew up in foster care. And people can probably relate to me that were raised in abusive homes. I found that people that had an alcoholic parent can relate to me a lot. And that's unfortunate, but abuse is abuse, and feeling like, I think they felt like they were in foster care, even though they weren't. They probably should have been in foster care, to be honest, with having, a parent that does substances and doesn't take care of them and is abusive. But anyway, they have anxiety and panic attacks just like me, from what I can see, from what I've observed, and from what they've told me. So anyway, yeah, I had some anxiety. Panic attacks. So I was stuck with a trainer that was a female, that was a complete bitch and very toxic, very gamey, very mean-spirited, and the game playing behavior, I hate that. I hate game playing behavior. It's a number one sign of toxic. It's just as soon as I see that, I'm just like repulsed by the person, and know that I need to be careful and be, instead of being friendly, be very polite. Watch how I see things, cross my T's, dot my I's. Don't give them a lot of information, because if they're also a narcissist, they don't want to hear about you. They don't care. They don't have empathy. So, toxic plus narcissism plus, usually there's a dark triad, with people that are super toxic. And you'll have to Google dark triad. You will learn a lot from that. But if you think about really difficult people that are toxic, that you can't stand to be around and have hard time dealing with, it's usually not just a narcissist. It's usually a combination of stuff that makes them really awful and toxic. So Google dark triad and you'll see what I'm talking about. I might try to find a link and put it in my comments so that you can go right to it and read. It's very enlightening. So anyway, yeah, so she kept game playing, and it was supposed to be like back and forth, taking turns. She was supposed to do one, and then a coworker and me that she was supposed to train was supposed to do one next. And instead of see one, do one with doing our jobs, she just hogged it. So again, a narcissist. She just hogged it and didn't let us take turns. And so my coworker was put with another person and didn't get a chance to do, get experience and do the job, because that woman hogged it. So then it came my turn, and she was wanting to train me from the very beginning on stuff I already knew. So I told her, I'm strong in that. What I'm not strong in, I'll be honest with you, is this, and this. And I could really use some training and some extra skills in that area. And that would really be helpful. And I said, this is easy and this is easy, but this part is really hard. And so she didn't know how to use like the presentation to share a screen and to listen on phone calls and stuff like that. I'm very tech savvy. I pick up on tech stuff like super quick. I just do. And when she like made a comment about it, it wasn't like a compliment. It was like, wow, you picked up on the skills really quickly with how to do this. And I said, oh yeah, it's probably because I'm a little bit geeky and I play video games, and video games usually have nuances, and you have to figure out like different things to level up and use certain skills, and certain nuances that you have to just figure out or watch something to figure it out. I said, so I'm kind of just used to that kind of stuff, and so it doesn't feel hard to me. And so she just became a bitch when it became my turn to do the job, and the other coworker was gone, so it was just me and her. And so like she kept doing like playing games, and so just manipulative games. Like I would say something and she would act like she didn't understand me, like what I was saying was nonsensical, crazy, or didn't make sense, when she knew full well what I was trying to convey. And so the more times she did that, and she kept doing it, the more insecure I felt, and the harder it became for me to talk and explain myself. And so I started having anxiety. And then she claimed she couldn't see my screen, that was too small, and so I did the resolution to full size, and like anything that was a document I made 200 and went overboard on it. And she continued to complain. She just kept on. So it's really hard for me and my personality type. I'm an INTJ, but I had to really rein it in really quickly, because when someone is being a bully and they're overt about it, like she was doing, I become sarcastic. I can get a tone that shows I'm irritated and getting angry, and I really have to watch that because I want to keep my job. And she has the power. She can complain about me, and I could lose the job. So I had to rein it in quickly, but I did say you might think about getting some glasses if you still can't see the screen. I have glasses that I wear when I drive because I can't see super far away, and she didn't like that. And she kept complaining, and so I was like, you might want to consider your monitor size, and she didn't like that. So I stopped at that point, and I just kept checking in with her to beat her to the punch of complaining about the screen size and that she couldn't see. It wasn't the screen size. She was claiming she couldn't see. So then she stopped playing that game, and she was like, so yeah, click that. And I said, oh, you could see now? You could see my screen? Which, that was the sarcasm coming through. Because I knew that bitch could see. I knew all along she could see. She was being a bitch. She was being toxic and playing games, because that's what toxic people do. And she was doing that to try to get under my skin, just to be a mean bitch. So, my stupid shirt. So anyway, and this is too baggy for me, but I feel comfortable in baggy clothes. So anyway, she kept playing those games until I started beating her to the punch and asking, oh, can you see? Are you sure can you see now? Is this helping? So I did that kind of stuff, and it stopped a lot of her shit. So it kind of worked. And when she started being a bitch and asked me if I knew the answers to stuff, I would just be like, I would turn it around on her and say, I don't know, what do you think? Is this right? And I'd pose the answer in a question to be less intimidating when I knew the answer to something. And because a narcissist does not want you to be skilled. They want you to be under. So that's why all the bullying tactics and intimidation tactics and all the dumb bullshit games that they play, and logically I know that, and I could see through her shit very quickly. But it did give me anxiety and panic attacks. When I have PTSD stuff going on from this kind of behavior, it's hard because my mind automatically kicks in and I can't control it, but my mind automatically blacks out. I stop talking, I stop functioning. Sorry, I have asthma. But I black out and I stop talking. And so my immediate thing when I'm getting triggered like that, I know the last thing I think about is abusive person that this person is reminding me of from foster care life. And so it's not like I even try. It's like, it's so weird. It's like looking up a file on a computer and going, there's the document that I need, and it pulls it up and it's an identical match. And I wish it wasn't, but it is. Sorry, I'm still having asthma. But so my mind goes to that person and I stop thinking. It's like my mind just goes like into a null, and it's just black. That's all I can say. It just goes black and blank. And like I said, my last thoughts are the immediate trigger to the abusive person in my file that I forgot about, that immediately pulls up like a bad virus pop-up in your computer that you don't want and don't need to corrupt your files, you know? And so you know, it's just it was stressful. And so yeah, I could tell you one of the times I had anxiety and panic attack with growing up in the system. I went to, even though I grew up in a facility, and my unit was 8 girls each, so they separated the genders and the ages. So teenagers in one unit, kids at this age, this unit was for babies, infant, toddler, this unit boys, you know, stuff like that. They were all broken down like that. So my unit was 8 girls and 2 adults, and sometimes just 1 adult. It was like whoever they can get. And so it was like rotating like all the time, and they didn't pay well. They paid the people up top well, I know that for a fact, but the people that actually did the direct care work were not paid well. So they didn't care if they had a background with violence. They didn't care if they had a criminal record. They did not care. They put anybody in that position. And the people that they hired would accept that they would live in that unit for a certain amount of days and then be off a certain amount of days and live on like an off unit paid for housing thing. This is my dog making racket. And so they would have a number of days they can use for that or use on a vacation and stuff like that. And they would not need a vehicle because sometimes there was a vehicle provided, like a van, and they wouldn't have to buy their own food because they were supposed to have food provided. Supposed to. And so, and it wasn't a free facility. My dad's death benefits went 100% to pay for my living there at the facility. And they made me sing all the time, and they used my face on calendars and all this other crap to sell to get more money. So yeah, that sucked. I hated it. I hated having my face used, and I hated having to sing and perform for them to get money. I hated that place. And I saw the business office and the administrative building, and those people drove nice cars. They had nice purses that were like Coach and Dooney and Bourke and stuff like that, that, you know, if they were making like regular money, they would not have, to buy that stuff. So there's that. So anyway, but yes, we went to public school. I went to a public school. It was a 5A. So that is like the biggest there is in Texas. It's really huge. And I got along pretty well for most part. I only had like a few bad teachers. My worst teacher was my senior year, and she taught a foreign language, which was a necessity to get into college. It was one of the requirements to get into college. You have to have a foreign language on your transcript from high school. And so I was in the class with 30 other students, and she calls roll, and it comes to my name, my last name being H. And she sees the address where I live, which can't hide. So, that address is a commonly known address for where I lived, the facility. So when she saw that, she told me to stand up. So I stood up, and all eyes are on me. And I'm like, what the hell? And so in front of 30 of my peers in the same class, she says, take your books and get out of my class, and tell the guidance counselor to change your schedule. I'm not having one of you kids from that place in my classroom. She said, do that now. Get out right now. Get all of your crap. Get out. So I gathered all of my books and put it in my backpack as fast as I could, and I looked around at all the students looking at me, and of course broke eye contact because they didn't want to be in the drama, didn't know how to respond to what was going on, just knew I was being kicked out. Someone thought I must have done something bad and asked me afterwards, and I was like, I didn't do anything bad. You saw me just sitting there and waiting to get my name called so I could say here. And so I go to the guidance counselor, which again, it's a 5A school, so it's not like it was just down the hall. I had to go to another building and go all the way to the guidance counselor and explain myself why I was going there without a hall pass and without permission and just coming in. So I explained, and I started crying. I couldn't stop. I just started crying, and I was telling the guidance counselor, who loved me and knew who I was, knew I was trying really hard. And I just told her, I just got kicked out of class. And she said, what did you do? I said, I didn't do anything. She kicked me out because she didn't like where I live. I can't control that. I can't, it's not like I live there for free, and it's not like I'm there because I'm bad. It's because I'm a legit orphan, and I have nowhere to go. I no family that's worth a shit. And so, like, I didn't say that to her. I was just thinking it in my head, but I just said, she kicked me out of class. What am I going to do? Like, my mind went into panic. I said, I really want to go to college. She is preventing me from going to college by kicking me out. You have to have a language to get into college. And thankfully my guidance counselor said, no, not necessarily. If you have other classes that are higher level classes that can also help you get into college. And she said, you can do that. And she said there's one class, in fact, the teacher teaches as if he's a professor from college, and all the exams are essay. And you have to go by memory. If you miss a detail, you flunk it. She said, can you handle that? I said, yeah, I can handle that. I can write really well. I'm really good at remembering details. I can handle that. And so that cheered me up. And that teacher, like, he loved me. I was his pet. Like, he would use me to go to the office to make copies and stuff. Like I didn't look at the exams, but he trusted me, and I would like make copies of, actually he used me to make copies of exams for a different class. It wasn't even the class I was taking, so to make it so, even though he trusted me, to make it so that I wouldn't be tempted. So I didn't know the exams for our class in particular. It was for his world history class that he taught. And so anyway, I was very thankful that she put me in that class, but I had a big panic attack and meltdown with the way I was humiliated, and then feeling like my hopes of having a future was going to be like, nixed. And this was the second person to try to screw me over on my future of going to college. My social worker at that facility, when I got the college application, refused to sign off as my guardian and sign the papers and said, "You're too stupid to go," and put it in the trash without even checking my grades and my transcript, without seeing that I was a good student. She just went by, "You're stupid." However she felt, and she threw it in the garbage, and I had to request another one. And because of that, I lost out on an important scholarship that could have helped me, so that I wouldn't have had to work my ass off during college and after college to pay off student loans. But it is what it is. I did pay off my loans and was responsible. And but yeah, I think too, with everyone always says that knows anything about foster kids that grew up in the system, says that all foster kids live in a survival mode, and I will say that's true. My survival mode kicks in when I feel like I'm gonna get fired. I get really panicked because my income is needed for my survival. It's not like I have family or somebody I can just go and chill and like couch surf, I'm too old to couch surf now, I could get away with that a few times in college, but like most of the time I was staying at motels, and paying for a place to live when they shut down for the holidays and whatnot. So it's not like I did that a lot. I didn't have that option a lot. It was rare that I got to couch surf. So I did have friends. It's just I had to prioritize keeping my grades up, working, and anything I did, which I did a few extracurriculars. I played soccer. I taught soccer to a little league team full of boys. It was so cute. They were so cute. Oh my God, they would bunch up, and I would have to teach them not to bunch up on the ball to like get their positions. So cute. And then I kept them for like 3 years, so I got to see their growth. It was awesome to watch them going from bunching up on a ball to like becoming really good at being a forward and kicking the goal, or being a guard and defense, and a back wing, and keeping the ball from going to the goal, or the goalie learning how to block the balls and stuff like that. It was really cool. I don't know why my mind is blanking on the defense position name, but whatever. I think because I'm too stressed. But anyway, in the sweeper position, sweeper is kind of cool because you can go anywhere you're needed, be a forward, be a back, defense, help the goalie. So that was a cool position to also train the kids to learn, and all the drills. It was so fun. I love that. But anyway, and I did date here and there, but it's always been difficult because time, didn't have a lot of time. And so now I have time, but even still I'm like, well, I'm gonna date, but I want to make sure I have all my stuff in order, with being caught up on all my bills. I want to make sure, and I have all my list of stuff I want to make sure before I leap into another relationship, and I don't want the guy to feel like I'm burdening him in any way. I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel like, hey, she's my match, and she's got my back, and she can handle this, and if something goes down, she's got my back. But I also want to feel like he's got my back. I'm not dating a pussy again. I'm dating a guy that has a spine, and like if something happens, he's like, fuck that person, blah blah blah. I want a guy like that. I don't want a guy that's like, oh, have you thought about, just being nice? It's like, who are you? Of course I've thought about being nice. That's a dumb strategy to deal with a person that's being difficult. If they're being a dick is a dick, and you should just acknowledge, man, that person's being a dick. Like that woman tonight, she's being a dick. I don't need you to tell me oh, you're gonna be okay, and it was just a bad night. I'm not like a regular woman. I don't need that kind of crap. What I need is, yeah, she was a dick. And maybe some advice. Have you thought about, reporting her to the trainer and getting a different one? Yes, I did that. So, as nice as possible, I wrote an email to the trainer when I saw that I was scheduled with this same one again, the head trainer that organizes. I told her, I'm so sorry, but is there any way I can be put with somebody else, because I'm not going to get the full benefit of learning with being put with this person. And when she asked why, I was honest and I said, I'm so sorry about this. I think it's possibly a personality conflict. It could be that she's tired, because she said she just came back from taking PTO, and maybe it's an adjustment period for her. But either way, it's I've learned from her. Although I've learned a lot from her, it's been very stressful, and I'd prefer to have somebody different. And when she came back with another email saying it's hard to reschedule and get another trainer because they're all, busy and blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, I totally understand. I'm so sorry to even ask, and I will use professional skills and, deal with it, and treat this like a difficult phone call, from, a patient or, facility calling me, and treat it that way and use professional skills, and thank you for your time. And she came back with an email saying, here's your new schedule, new trainer. So anyway, that strategy worked, so thank God. But that's what I need. I don't need reassurance like a girl. Like, I'm not a girl like that. In that way, I'm very different. I want a strategy, and I want, like, if you're gonna treat me like, and sympathize, just agree that person was a dick, and I can move on, And same with you. If you're looking for a girl to be mushy about something, I have a hard time with that. So I'm like, strategy, and man, that person sucks. Sound like a real bitch, and I'll empathize with you in that way. And have you thought about trying this? And give you strategies to help you. But yeah, that's what I do. So that's helpful for me, and it's helpful to receive that from somebody, versus having, oh, you should be nicer, or have you thought about, and making it about me when I didn't do anything wrong. It was that person being a bitch for no reason. So because they're toxic. There doesn't have to be a reason. They're just toxic. And like I said, the number one way to see that someone is toxic is when they start playing games with you. I can't. If a guy plays games and acts stupid, I don't put up with that. That's an immediate sign that person's toxic, and I don't deal with toxic. Like, if you want to play games, life is short. Go find someone who enjoys that kind of drama and that kind of stress. I'm not that girl. I don't enjoy stress and drama. I don't like it, and I would rather not deal with a guy that's toxic. I get that, everybody's had like some dysfunction in their life. Even people that seem to have it all together, they have somebody in their life or some point in their life that was dysfunctional. But if you've worked on it and tried to move on and heal the best you can, so it's not so present as like a top tier about you, then that's cool. So I did try counseling. I'll tell you, the best counselor I had was a guy, and he used a combination of spiritual Christian stuff and a lot of Buddhist Asian techniques. And he taught me, like, dig your nails in, to be present, and to get yourself out of like a blackout or PTSD, like when you're stressed. So that's helpful. And also getting a mentor, to talk stuff over with, and to have someone to connect with, that's more than, because a counselor, they're supposed to keep like a professional boundary, but a mentor, they're more like a big sister, or like a mother figure. And so I did have that. I had a Jewish lady she was a lesbian, which I'm straight. I love men, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever. But her sexual orientation didn't matter to me. It was what she had to bring to the relationship, which enriched me and helped me a lot. It helped me to have someone who's familiar and understanding about culture that I didn't have in my life, and just to go alongside me as like a friend and like a guidance in that way. So that to me was more helpful than having a counselor, because counselors, you never know what you're going to get. You're either going to get someone who's completely batshit insane and toxic because they went into the field because they can relate, because they're toxic, or they had abusive stuff in their background. Sorry, my hair is doing some funky stuff tonight. I'm so sorry. So you're rolling the dice. Either you're going to get someone who's really good and healed from their shit as a counselor and can actually give you some practical good advice, like that guy I had. He was balanced. He was healed from his shit. He was working on his own shit. He was moving on and helping me in turn. So that counselor guy was good. But it's hit or miss. I had one lady that was really terrible. I would say stay away from social workers. They have the patience of a gnat. So I would avoid that. But it's a hit or miss. Sometimes you're going to get someone who's good, and if they're toxic and you can tell that they're going to be difficult and not help you heal, move on. Don't stagnate and give them chances. Move on. There's no reason to pay somebody that's supposed to help you that isn't helping you. So move on, and move on quickly. And same with relationships. If they are not good and they're toxic, move on quickly. So I started doing that. I used to hang in there because I'm very stubborn, and I like to give a lot of chances because I'm like, well, I would like a chance, and I might not be given a chance, because it seems like when people find out I grew up in foster care, they assume all this stuff. And then to add on that, I'm from Detroit. Oh my God. like the people and their assumptions, and their parents and their assumptions, and I'm just like, you didn't even get a chance to know me, and don't even whatever. So I would say move on quickly. Don't give chances, and stay in for the sake of staying in, hoping the person will change, or hoping that what you sense and see from their overt behavior, not your feelings, because feelings lie. I don't know why people use their feelings as a gauge, but whatever you see that's overt behavior, like tonight with that lady being gamey as hell, and I can't see, I can't hear, and like I said, I shouldn't have played into it and said you should get glasses and consider monitor size. But by me challenging her by going, oh, can you see? That did stop her shit. So challenging sometimes is good, but you gotta be very careful with it. It's a fine line. You could piss a person off even more, but it stopped her shit for sure. So that was a useful technique. The sarcasm probably wasn't me telling her, oh, you should consider glasses. That wasn't good. So don't do what I did. Don't do that. Anyway, if you see overt behavior like that, don't stay in it. Think of a quick strategy, get out. So like I did tonight, I thought of a quick strategy. I thought really well how to word stuff to the head person to see if I can get a different trainer, because why stay in that? I'm not going to learn from her. She's a toxic person and shouldn't be training anybody. She should just do her job, and that's it, But yeah, so that's all I gotta say. Sorry I look like shit, but I did just get off work, and it is 3 a.m. Central Standard Time in America, and I'm about to watch my X-Files, play a little bit of my game, you know, because I like my little video game. It's really not an actual, well, there's different forms of games. I'm not going to put down what I do. I like my games. So, gaming as in gaming, not playing games. Like what that lady did. So anyway, sorry for the bad hair day and that I look so, tired. I am tired. But hopefully what I said will be useful to somebody. Hopefully if you do relate to what I said, hopefully it gave you comfort to see you're not alone. And like I said, hopefully I helped you with some strategies to heal and come up with a way to cope, you know? That's all I can say. So anyway, sorry for the bad hair day that I'm obviously having. And not looking so great either. I look pretty rough, but you know, it is what it is. I've had worse. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna chill and go to sleep. Peace out.